There's a phrase in the UK, and some other places I think as well, that something can be Marmite, and it means that something's either loved or hated. It comes from a weird yeast product that you can spread on toast or make drinks out of it. It's so popular, in fact, that even the company itself uses "you'll either love it or you'll hate it" as their advertising campaign. The thing is, I don't mind Marmite, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to do this video. This isn't going to be a movie review channel. Actually, I don't really know what sort of channel it's going to be. I haven't really thought of that far ahead yet. But I'm doing this review because I didn't hate Ghostbusters. I didn't love it either. It was okay. And I've got a feeling that's going to be an opinion we don't hear very often regarding this movie. So first of all, this is a fully hard reboot. The characters in this movie aren't the original characters' kids or anything like that. It's set in modern times, but in their universe, ghostbusting has never existed before. It also starts a completely female main cast, something that you'd think they would have mentioned. I thought they would have got a little bit more press. It's got Kirsten Wiig playing Kirsten Wiig, and Melissa McCarthy playing Melissa McCarthy, although a slightly subdued version of Melissa McCarthy from the few times I've seen her in other movies. It also stars Leslie Jones as the Black One, and Kate McKinnon as my new weird crush. They're joined by a supporting cast of Zach Woods, who I'd love to have seen more of, Charles Dance phoning it in, Andy Garcia doing a weird mayor, Neil Casey playing the bad guy Rowan, who is so unforgettable I actually had to write his name down on a post-it note and stick it to the camera. And Chris Hemsworth, who plays the secretary, in a really fantastic role. He steals every scene that he's in. The writing's fantastic. He plays this sort of dumb secretary character who's obviously very good looking. And although the idea that the office Totty is now a boy is a little on the nose, it actually works really well. He's really, really good in this movie. Okay, so let's do the big issue, the elephant in the room, the sexism debate that we had when this movie was first announced and the trailer started coming out. A lot of people were very negative about the movie for purely the reason that it starred a female cast. Now, I'll be honest with you, I went into this movie with morbid curiosity than anything else. I wasn't particularly looking forward to it, and that isn't because it had a female cast. It had specifically one female, Melissa McCarthy. I can't stand the woman. I don't like any of the movies I've ever seen her in. It's not because she's female, it's because I don't particularly find her funny. Luckily in this, she was part of an ensemble and a little bit more subdued, so for me, it was fine. Although I've got a feeling if you probably go and see this because you're a fan of her, you might be left a little shortchanged. The film could have gone one or two ways. It could have not referenced it at all and just got on with the movie, or it could have referenced the fact that there was a lot of issues before it came out regarding the fact that it was a female cast. They went for the second option, and it starts off very nicely with a little sort of side gag to YouTube comments that for me personally was very well written and would have been enough. Yet they really want to hammer home that they were aware of the issues leading up to the release of this movie, and they constantly hit you with cheap female empowerment gags that get worse and worse and tackier, leading to one of the ghosts being shot in the groin by the ectoplasm guns. I don't know what I should say. I should probably point out at this point I wasn't a massive fan of the original. Not that I didn't like it, it's just it wasn't really part of my childhood. So I'm probably coming at this with slightly less rose-tinted specs than most. So that out of the way, what is this movie? My biggest problem with it is that it can't decide what it is. It's one of two things. It's either a very sort of honest homage to the original, or it's really trying to stand on its own 2 feet and sort of carve its own sort of market. It does both a little, and because it doesn't do both fully, it kind of gets itself a little bit lost in the middle. There are lots of times where you can see a lot of references to the original. In fact, one thing I will say about this one is that they probably do a better job of setting up the origin story than the original movie did. But that's probably a sign of Hollywood in general getting better at origin stories as opposed to this one. You know, after all the superhero films we've had recently, we really got the origin story down. So the finding of the building, the creation of the car and the logo and the name, all of those are really nicely explained and sort of quite organically produced, whereas in the original film they just kind of said, okay, we're Ghostbusters, here's the car, here's the fire station. So I think it does do quite a good job of homaging the original and sort of pointing out little nods and references to the original, including cameos, lots of cameos in there that were all as forced as cameos are, but they overall they were okay. But then it also tries to stand on its own with a slightly more adult humour than the original. There are references to female reproductive organs and things like that. This is 12A, bear in mind, as well, in the UK, so this is a made-for-kids movie, but there are a couple of jokes in there that, personally, for me, didn't quite sit right, but you can tell they've tried to cut their own sort of movie in there, and it's probably the movie that if they all came back to it now, the original cast that is, it probably would have been more along these lines, because humour has changed as we've gone on, but it's a lot more direct humour, a lot more sort of gags flying than the original, where a lot of the humour comes from the situation. Talking of the gags, one thing I really didn't get about this movie is how they managed to pick all the worst jokes for the trailer. The trailers really didn't enthuse me much at all. I wasn't looking forward to the movie based on the trailers at all. Everything I laughed at during the film was something that wasn't shown on the trailer. All the jokes that were in the trailer were ones that I didn't laugh at in the movie. And there were a few jokes in the trailer that were cut from the movie, from what I could tell, as well. So, yeah, there's a really strange choice of material they used for the trailer there. The movie gags come across a lot better than the ones they use in the trailer. Specifically, a lot of the Chris Hemsworth stuff that we didn't see beforehand. Some of his interactions with the four girls is absolutely fantastic. Personally, my favourite joke in the whole movie is revolved around Chris's character and a photograph of a saxophone. That's all I'm going to say. It was very small gag, very sort of thrown away gag, but it was very, very funny. And if there's any issue with the comedy, it's the fact that if you throw enough jokes, some of them stick. It means that some are going to fall flat. Overall, I laughed a lot. It passed the sort of 6 to 10 laughs ratio that I have in my head, that if I come away from a comedy film laughing around 6 to 8 times, 6 to 10 times, then I feel like it's been successful. It definitely did that. It's very warm, it's very fun, it doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I think the most important thing, that it was much, much better than the trailer made out that it was going to be. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, give us a dislike, do what you like. And also, check out this video from friends of mine, Lucy and Andrew, over at Lucy's channel, Tour Athena. We all saw the film together, and I think they have a slightly different opinion of it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.